But yeah, so the physical entries, they're going to be there's going to be a lot of them. It'll probably, yeah, definitely be the most common log entry type. So what you might learn about these items when you interact with an item, you would see what its name is, obviously, what it does, what it's made of, what the manufacturer who built it, what its main purpose. I think I already said that. How big is it? How heavy is it? All those sorts of topics. And then the voiceover would provide a deeper level of information, including things like how did it factor into the sinking? Has it been brought up from the wreck? Are there any of these things traveling the country? Can you buy a recreation of this thing on our store? I suppose there's so much information beyond that. Is this object on Olympic or Britannic, or is there a photo of this, that sort of thing? So let's look at the visual, because I know that's what you all want to see anyway. So as an example, you walk up, you're on the forecastle deck, you walk up to the windlass, the big mechanism that lowers the anchors. Sitting on top are those massive chains, which in ship terms are known as anchor cables. And so you focus on it, it highlights, as Derek showed us, and you click add to log, and pops open your log book. So this is our next little image. So you can see the windlass behind the image. The anchor chain would be highlighted, and then this would pop open. So again, we have those beautiful looking controls in the bottom right. I am personally a minimalist person when it comes to controls, really anything, because I do want us to stay out of your way as much as we can. If you guys can just explore Titanic with just minimal help from us on how to interact with stuff. I don't like games that are, every time you look at something, there's a huge prompt that says press X to interact with this. So we're trying to keep it minimalistic. There's that wonderful cursor that we have, and then you can see this entry. It says anchor cables, wrought iron links, and steel studs. It's really small for me. I can't really read it actually. And its manufacturer is Noah Hingley and Sons Limited. And its length is 165 fathoms, and its width is 50 tons. So these are just ways to inform you about this object and what went into making it, that sort of thing. And there's that that drawing. That's actually not something we made. That's a diagram of the attachments to the anchor cables that would attach the anchor on the end, and we would definitely mess with that and make our own, perhaps. And you can see on the right, same with the spatial entry, I forgot to mention, on the right, that page is blank. There are more entries to be found. But one of the things that you will be able to collect are photos. Littered around Titanic, there will be the photos that you have seen thousands of times. There's only a handful of them, photos of Titanic, on board Titanic. Matt did a wonderful video in the TU series. If you don't watch those videos, definitely do. Titanic University, all about the interior photos. There's only 30 something of them because the ship sank so quick. And if it weren't for Father Brown, we would have even less. So those photos will be scattered all around Titanic, and you will find them and you'll be able to collect them. And that's that. And if you collect all of them, there will be a reward. Great. But they also feed into our third log entry, which is visual entries. So if you have that photo and you go to the spot that it was taken and you line it up just right, you will be able to add that photo to your logbook, and you will be able to learn who took that photo, when was it taken, who's in the photo. There's a lot of photos with passengers and crew in the photo. Did they survive? Did they not? And just what's the story behind the person who took the photo and why were they taking it? There's a version of this where there are photos of Olympic and Britannic laying around as well, and you can learn the differences in this photo. Here's a photo of Olympic, and in it you can see some things that would not be on Titanic, or things that were improved on Titanic. And then, of course, images of Britannic, which are, a lot of images of Britannic are the World War I hospital ship Britannic, and of course, if you've played Britannic, you know all about that stuff. So so here's an example. You find in the boiler room, you find a photo of the Cafe Parisien, that beautiful photo of the cafe. It's like crystal clear if you've ever seen like a big blown up version of it. And the sun is coming in through the windows. It looks brand new, of course, because that's all it ever was. And you think to yourself, if you're a Titanic enthusiast, you know exactly where the Cafe Parisien is, and you'd recognize it in your sleep. But for some people, they would take a little bit of a hunt to try and find, where did I see that room with the ivy and the, where was that? And if you track down the spot and you find exactly where it lines up, you would be presented with the visual log entry, and here is what that looks like. So as you can see, there's the controls, there's the cursor, as we've talked about. You see the cafe in the background, and there's the photo of the cafe that was taken, as you can see, by Robert Welch, the Harlan and Wolff photographer, in early 1912. Robert Welch would have taken photos of spaces on Titanic that were brand new, because if these spaces were on the Olympic, they already have photos of it. So the cafe was not on Olympic. This was added for Titanic. And so they would have wanted a nice photo for promotional sake, I assume. These sets of visual log entries will give you deeper background to these famous photos.